Good morning, welcome to Life, Love and the Pursuit of Real Estate. I want to talk to those real estate people that have been in the industry for a short time and a long time, and I want to talk to you about a key word used at the moment by everybody, which is disruptors, or commonly, getting off track really is what it is. The word disruptor now is used for a lot of things, and I think there are times when what we're actually doing is when we're talking about the word or words that relate to disruption or disruptors as such, and we're spending that much time worrying about that we're actually not concentrating on doing what we need to do. So what I've done is I've designed a little graph that I've been using, and I've been using it over in WA, and it's been working really, really well, just to show people how to maybe get back on track and what actually happens with your time usage. Because disruption or getting off track is only about one thing, and that's the loss of the most important, precious thing that you have other than your family, and that's your time. So I want to talk about that in a minute. I want to draw you a graph just to show you. So if we're going to draw a line and say that today's goal, and today being Wednesday, that by the end of today we have a particular goal in mind. And we start our day at whatever time that is, and that could be, let's pick 7:30 a.m. as a start. Through the course of the day, we've got a whole heap of tasks. So therefore, if your diary is anything like mine, I think today I've got somewhere in the line of about 9 different appointments. So, and of course, my appointment here with John is my most favourite, John. So in that instance, I just want to explain to you generally what happens. So when we get deviated, or we get off track, or we have a disruptor come in, this is what generally happens. We're running along our goal line and something will come up and there'll be a deflection. And it could be getting a call from an old friend, it could be something goes wrong at home, the car doesn't work, someone's got sick, whatever it might be. We go off track for a period of time, and then by the time we get back on track, there's a certain amount of time that's evaporated, gone, that we can never ever get back. And that's this area in here, this little triangle here. So therefore, this is what we call time wastage, or time wasted. The key for you that are watching this video now, if you want to implement this process properly, is this, is that how do we make sure that the triangles get smaller every time there is a disruption? That's the key. So the smaller the triangle, the less amount of time we're wasting, and the quicker we get back on track. So if you do this in a day, and I've had some people actually do this process during the course of the day, sometimes in one morning there can be 20 disruptions that get them off their track, up to 20, sometimes even more than that. It just shows you how much time you can waste. So, and I always use the example of a cigarette smoker. Cigarette smokers tend to waste a lot of time because, aside from having a cigarette, and not that I'm against it because it's up to yourself whether you smoke or not, but what happens is by the time you have a cigarette and you wash your hands and you go to the toilet and you do all those sorts of things, 20, 25 minutes just evaporates. And that's unproductive behaviour. So if we want to talk about dollar productive behaviour, the one thing that we've got to do is we've got to work out and analyse what we're doing with our time. And it's good to do this sheet during the course of a day to learn exactly where we're at. So I'm just going to quickly repeat this. So the triangles signify when we're off track. So when we're off track, this here is a time frame. So depending on how quickly we get back on track, this area in here is time wasted. So when you start looking at that and analysing your behaviour, because the only way that you can counteract a disruption is by analysing your behaviour and understanding what gets you off track. Now, there is nothing more important than at the end of every day that you assess your goal. So at the end of every day, you need to calculate whether your day was a 10 out of 10, a 9 out of 10, an 8 out of 10, etc. So at the end of every day, I try and calculate that and just see how productive I was during the course of my day. And my day needs to incorporate some spirituality, some money-making orientated behaviour, and some goal-orientated behaviour that feeds my soul. So for me, they're the 3 key points in the course of my day from when I get up. When first doing the charts, when I used to sit down at my desk and I'd have a look. What I'd do is I make sure the most important person for me at my work is my personal assistant. So therefore, her job is A, to set my diary up, and we have our diary planned the day before and sometimes days before. But in reality, what we're actually looking at is time usage. So she will A, screen calls for me. Because she understands me well and I've articulated and spent a lot of time training her, she's also very aware of who's important to the day-to-day running of our business, right? And she's also given an authority level that she can answer questions. So I've actually delegated out authority that I don't have to cope with all the small stuff. So she's got an authority level up to a certain point that she can actually run this business, our development business and my training business. She can actually run it without me present because she knows the parameters of where she can go. So a lot of the time wasted behaviour is when we don't delegate properly, when we don't give authority to the people that could help us, and we're control freaks. So what I've learned is over the period of time, I've learned to let that go and give it back. And even if they make the odd mistake or whatever, that's actually part of growth. So therefore, to alleviate these disruptors, like when I'm in this meeting now, my mobile phone is with Mary. I don't have it with me, right? I don't have to look at it. I never, ever, ever go into a meeting with a mobile phone. I don't do that. And if the meeting is allowed for an hour, I generally try and make sure we get out of there within 30 to 40 minutes. Because if there's no disruptors, generally you'll get the agenda of the meeting done right. So therefore, all those sorts of things is I never, ever have a discussion without understanding that I need to get it to a certain goal point, or I need to get, need to achieve something in that discussion. So if I'm having a work discussion, there is a point of having a work discussion, and it's to get a result, some result driven. So therefore, the more results driven and the more goal orientated I am during the course of the day, the more focused I am on letting the disruptors go as they come to me. So, but remembering that this chart here is a really good chart to learn and teach your staff, if you're a principal watching this, and let people see and analyse their own behaviour about how often they get off track. Hopefully that's been of some help to you.